and welcome back to Bonnie Astrology. Today we're discussing the new moon solar eclipse in Libra happening on October 14th, 2023, and of course what it means for your zodiac sign. So if you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up to let me know you liked it. If you want regular astrology updates from me on this channel, you can hit the subscribe button down below, and if you want to book a reading with me or contact me, the information is listed in the description. That's the only place that you can get me. At the moment, I am a bit slow in my responses, but I will be getting back to you shortly. Just be mindful that there are scammers who operate the comment section of YouTube, of Instagram, if you want to follow me there as well, or the DMs. They tend to offer free readings initially, but they are not necessarily free. They tend to ask for money later. One of them has tried to scam me as me, so I'm not sure that they're the most sophisticated bunch. But just be mindful that as a blanket ban, I will not be offering you a free reading. It is not me. My account on Instagram especially is verified, so you can use that to check, but I will not be offering any kind of service to you out of nowhere. Basically, you will have to ask me first. And that is simply because for the most part, one, I don't really have the time, and two, I just will not do that because there are scammers that are looking for money and things like that, and impersonating various different astrologers, tarot readers, oracles, all that sort of stuff online. So just be mindful of that. Protect your finances, as we have 2 eclipses this month that are ruled by Venus, and Venus rules finances. So let's have a little look at this eclipse in general. Now, I want to point out a few things about eclipse season in general. Eclipses are very linked to fate and destiny, and they tend to coincide with major moments in our lives. So that can coincide with getting married, having a baby, that can be getting a divorce, it can be losing a job. Eclipses tend to coincide with major moments of change in our life, and they can be perceived as positive, they can be perceived as negative. It depends what is happening for you. But the main purpose of an eclipse is to accelerate you on your destiny, accelerate you on your journey down a different path that is in alignment with your soul's growth. What is conducive to your experience? What is going to make you grow and develop as a person, and perhaps to push you down a path that would be better for you. So for example, some people that may go through a divorce under an eclipse might find that 6 months later at the next eclipse they meet the love of their life. Or it may be a case that you lose a job under one eclipse, and then 6 months later you are actually working your own business that is very aligned with who you are as a person. Sometimes with eclipses, what is perceived as a very negative event can be a catalyst for great change in your life that you look back on and feel great about. Now, obviously, that's not to say that every eclipse under the sun is going to be wonderful or it's going to be terrible. In some cases, you may find yourself being more a supporting character for the changes and happenstance in another's life, while in some other cases, you are the main character having a very intense, profound experience, whether that be filling you with joy and bliss, or whether that be filling you with dread and sadness and grief. It can really depend. But eclipses are rarely lukewarm in our lives. There's usually something occurring, and they can be felt very intensely in the body. So in the lead up to this eclipse, or during this eclipse season, for the whole of October, do prioritize your health. Eclipses tend to hit us, they make us feel quite top heavy. We can get headaches, we can feel really fatigued, really tired, and it can make us feel really lethargic, really drained. And one of the things about eclipses is that it's best to approach them with an attitude of surrender, and that can mean that it's a good time to take some time off, to do nothing, not schedule so much into your calendar that you feel overwhelmed and you can't do all of these things, because your energy may be running a bit flat. Under an eclipse, they tend to drain us a little bit on the energetic battery. So if you can take it easy as much as you can, because surrendering is part of the process. Eclipses are linked to fate and destiny and letting the universe take the wheel. So if you can surrender to them, you may have a bit of an easier time than if you are to constantly try and push. And the universe might have other ideas. So it is a time of surrender. It is a time to go with the flow, and it is a time to approach them with, I guess, curiosity of what could happen. Even from an astrological point of view, eclipses are notoriously hard to predict, but there are some themes coming up for this one that is happening in the sign of Libra. So Libra, of course, is to do with our relationships and our relationship to others, our relationship to what is fair, what is just, understanding our patterns in relationship, and also understanding our relationship to beauty, to aesthetics, and to style. So because this eclipse is linked to the South Node, despite the fact that it is a new moon solar eclipses, which are typically associated with new beginnings, new opportunities, this is linked to the South Node, which means it might be worthwhile letting go of something to facilitate something new, or something may have to be let go of in order for you to welcome in a new beginning. And for some people, this doesn't necessarily have to be a very obvious event that's happening on the external. It doesn't have to be that you're going through a divorce. It doesn't have to be that you're moving home. It doesn't have to be that you're changing jobs. It can entirely be internal. It can be something that you're experiencing on the inside, that you're releasing a pattern, you're understanding your relationship to others better. You're redefining your relationship with codependence. You're perhaps doing some shadow work around relationships, and you're perhaps even changing your views on what is considered fair and what is considered just. Or perhaps you are simply pulling away from a relationship because you do not feel that your values align on what is fair and what is just within the relationship. It might also be that you're perhaps deciding, like Pamela Anderson, not to wear makeup anymore and redefining what beauty means for you. And in doing so, that can usher in a new chapter in your life when it comes to how you feel about what makes you beautiful, what you feel makes others beautiful, and how you define beauty. Because these are themes of the South Node in Libra. They're themes overall where we are likely rejecting codependence. We're redefining what beauty means for us aesthetically, and also to do with humanity. We're also reconsidering what is fair and just. So there will be a lot coming up about the law. There will be a lot coming up about human rights, conflict, of course, the fact that this is happening on the Aries Libra axis, with the North Node being in Aries and Chiron being active under this lunar solar eclipse. Chiron is going to be opposite Mercury at this time, and both in the sign of Aries, which is associated with war and conflict, and also the self, so self-interest, self-motivations. But this eclipse highlighting our relationship to these themes, and also our relationship to peace and compromise within relationships, because it is in Libra, and Libra is a sign associated with peace and compromise and balance and negotiation. That's why Libra is oftentimes associated with the law, and you will typically find if you have a lawyer, they have Libra in their chart significantly. Or even Sagittarius, but I find Libra is very common in the charts of people who practice the law. So this eclipse may be a time where these type of themes are coming up for you, and whatever part of the sky it is falling in your chart, you will find that relationships in that area are of some importance for you, even if it is happening behind the scenes, even if it is something that's happening internally speaking. You may find that a relationship to another person is perhaps a driver for this, or even a catalyst for this change or this understanding. You will notice during this season that people really impact you very much in a one-on-one relationship. So whether that's your best friend, whether that is your partner, your business partner, your boss, whatever it is, there will be somebody who is perhaps acting as some sort of catalyst, even involuntarily, for your change in perspective, and perhaps the point of you letting go of something in your life or internally. So this is a very heightened time emotionally, and this might be quite tricky to understand at the time. Sometimes eclipses are not 100% understood during the fact. You may notice a month later. Some people say a few months. I find with eclipses that the overall theme is playing out during the cycle. So the nodes did shift in July, and the first eclipse on the Aries Libra axis occurred at the very end of April. So these might be things you're already aware of in terms of themes and patterns. Do pay attention, and do pay attention as well to what you're picking up from the universe, whether you're seeing signs everywhere. For example, for me, I was driving very early in the morning, and I came across all these carrots spewed across the road, all these carrots. And you might think that sounds a little bit bizarre, but it means something to me. So if you're picking up the signs and the clues of the universe, they may mean something to you, but they're very active under eclipse season. So do pay attention to signs and synchronicities. Even if events are not necessarily incredibly obvious, there can be subtleties in the odd or unusual things that are happening to you. And do try and get a lot of rest and treat yourself and others with compassion under this solar eclipse in Libra. It is any south node eclipse is somewhat linked to shadow work. So there could be quite, for want of a better word, triggering events linked to relationships in our lives of all forms and all kinds, because all relationships of all kinds and all forms are important to our growth and our development and to our well-being. So you may find during this time that relationships are perhaps triggering you, or perhaps some of them are deepening, and perhaps some of them are being let go of, and perhaps some of them are being transformed in some way, shape or form. The eclipse is coinciding with Pluto stationing direct this week. So we can find that shadow work overall with the South Node with Pluto is quite intense and quite profound. And if you do not do shadow work, you may find this week that you are doing it involuntarily by reassessing your relationship to others and what is coming up for you through the lens of another person. So I'm going to draw a couple of tarot cards to get more on the theme of this solar eclipse in Libra. I'm just going to use the traditional Rider-Waite minis and see what comes up for this solar eclipse in Libra. Justice. You couldn't make that up. You couldn't make that up. That's amazing. Tarot always surprises me. I always wonder how people think there's nothing in it and then stuff like that happens. He's holding the scales of justice. Justice is impartial. So if you're looking at some kind of compromise or relationship in your life, you're looking at it through the lens of what is fair and just, and considering both sides of the equation in order to reach some sort of compromise or negotiation where both needs of either party is considered. It can be a time of mediation where you're perhaps trying to figure out the best way forward in a conflict, within a conflict. But the best way to do this is to be impartial. The best way to do this is to approach it with some degree, I mean, this is air sign energy, some degree of detachment. That is often why Libras are the best lawyers. Well, I mean, the best, yeah, I know that's definitely offended some people, but a Libra placement in a chart, you don't have to be a Libra sun, but a lot of the time Libras work in the law because they're interested in negotiating, in mediating, in finding compromise and in finding balance, but also pursuing what is fair and what is just in all cases. The Five of Swords, this can be the energy of winning, but at what cost? Where you're going to battle with someone with absolutely no intention of making things better for both sides or compromising, but instead being the victor at the expense of a relationship, at the expense of a connection, at the expense of best case scenario for the sake of ego, perhaps, with this combination. So just be mindful of any conflicts that are coming up in your life. For a lot of people, this could be key points in legal matters as well. And with the sun reminding us that this is a solar eclipse, I feel that the best case forward with this energy is to lead with, and I know this sounds so cliche, but positivity in any matter. And Libra can also be surprisingly silly energy. So making sure that you're taking time to have fun, to laugh, to nurture your inner child, to be playful. And I think that's the best way of approaching conflict with the sun. But I think the sun also represents the spotlight being in this. So there could be a lot coming up with the law. Obviously, Pluto going direct in Capricorn, a lot with government, a lot of hierarchies, organizations. There could be a lot coming up with leadership. You could find under this solar eclipse that you realize that a leader was not who you thought they were, that they actually had ulterior motives. Some leaders can be choosing themselves, and that is where I think there may be more conflict, where leadership, and this is such an unfortunately common occurrence, is that leadership thinks more of leadership than of the people that it's supposed to be leading. And so that can be a theme that's coming up around this time as well. But I think we could all use a little bit of justice energy in our life, where we're just trying to get the best for both sides in a conflict and in a situation that we might be experiencing in a relationship. Finding that balance, finding that harmony, and not just winning for the sake of winning. You know, where you could bend and compromise a little bit in a relationship in order to find more harmony, more joy, and more happiness within a key relationship in your life is going to be a big theme under this solar eclipse in Libra. I think it's also highlighting that Libra, sun, moon, and rising, this eclipse is really going to impact you. So I'm going to get into what this means for each of the individual zodiac signs. The timestamps are listed below. As always, I do suggest that you watch your rising sign, but you can watch your sun and your moon, especially because it is eclipse season and the energy is so profound and so intense. You can watch whichever one you like, basically, but I do suggest watching your rising. So I hope you all have a blessed, wonderful eclipse, and I hope that it ushers in a positive new change in your life that you would really love, especially if you are with Libra energy, hoping for a positive resolution to a conflict, or perhaps even hoping for a new relationship. I do hope that your wish comes true. That's what I have for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in your sign. So Libra, I hope you can see this, but there is the most beautiful sunset behind me. And I think it's very appropriate for your energy because you are someone who's going to be going through profound changes and maybe having a bit of a sunset in your life where perhaps there is actually a beautiful ending of some kind in order to facilitate a new beginning, possibly one with a little bit more depth to it. But I think that's my sunset analogy. I'm going to move a little bit so that you can see it as I'm talking at the same time. But Libra, this is an interesting one for you because it's going to happen in your first house of individuality, self-discovery, taking charge of your own life and embracing yourself, choosing yourself, perhaps finding yourself in the spotlight as well. Solar eclipses do tend to bring a little bit of fame to a person, and that might be local fame. That might be taking the stage in an event. That might be putting yourself front and center. But really, it's about embracing your true self and focusing on your self goals. It can also be a time where you're perhaps making changes to your appearance or your image or your reputation. And I find a lot of the time with solar eclipses in a sign that people do tend to make significant changes. They change their hair. They change maybe even something subtle like their skincare routine. They might do something aesthetically different in the weeks that follow or the weeks prior. That can be, say, you've been a brunette all your life. You suddenly want to become a blonde because it suits you going into a new phase of life. Or perhaps it can be that you want to change your attire. Say you have always your whole life been a man in a suit. You might find yourself, for example, retiring and not wearing a suit as much. You might find yourself wearing hiking gear because you want to go hiking more than you used to because you have that time. It might also be a time when your reputation is up for discussion. It's changing in some way, shape, or form. There's personal changes going on for you, Libra, that involve you, I think, stepping away from one way of seeing yourself, of viewing yourself, and of perhaps other people viewing you that way, and a new way of being. A new way of seeing yourself. You're wanting to do something different. And I will say, because this is a solar eclipse and it is ruled by the sun, and the sun rules your 11th house, this might involve a new goal for yourself, socializing with very different people than you used to, finding yourself with new teams, new groups, finding yourself with new aspirations for yourself that may provoke some kind of change with yourself. Perhaps you're seeing the future a little bit differently. Perhaps you're moving away from the type of future that you anticipated and you're moving into a new phase where the future does look a little bit different, and that can be scary, that can be intimidating. But really with this new moon solar eclipse, Libra, you are choosing yourself effectively, is what I'm seeing. And I do think when it comes to your image and your appearance, it might already have changed substantially since July. And this could be something that you're wanting to work with or work on. With Venus being the ruler of this eclipse and it being in your 12th house, this might be something that you are doing behind the scenes. However, this might be something that you're working on in secret, or perhaps there's some kind of healing you're doing that is actually going to change you physically in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps you've decided to cut out certain foods. This is very common when Venus goes through Virgo, especially having a Virgo 12th house. You're cutting out certain foods. It's actually going to change your appearance. So for example, that might be that if you give up dairy, you might notice your skin suddenly improving dramatically. And perhaps other people notice it, but they don't know why. And it's because of something you've done behind the scenes. Libra. So this is a time of self-discovery for you. Get curious about yourself, because at any age you can be getting to know yourself again, Libra. It can be a case where maybe you're finally finding yourself more at peace with who you are because you're making changes that accommodate yourself. A lot of Libras, I will say, do find themselves in relationships that can become codependent and can define who they are. And that's not in any way, shape, or form judgment. It's just the fact that sometimes the sign of Libra, whether it's your sun, moon, rising, Venus, you can find yourself in relationships where you're so trying to make the relationship work because you're very good at relationships, you're very amicable, and you're trying to make it work to the point where you lose parts of yourself. If you have someone who's perhaps a bit uncompromising, you can sacrifice parts of yourself to keep the relationship going. And this might be a time when you're really stepping into yourself and saying, no, actually, I need this for me. I need this for myself. Okay, Libra, let's get you a card and see what comes up for this new moon solar eclipse in your sign. The sun, it's a solar eclipse. It's happening in your sign. You're going to be in the spotlight. I can feel it. You're going to be seen. You're going to be more open to being witnessed. I think a lot of you could also be traveling to a different location with the sun and the Knight of Wands. I'll get you one more. Justice, there's you. Nice. I'm such a tarot nerd. Okay, so we have the Sun, the Knight of Wands, and the Justice card. A lot of you could be traveling, as I say, under this eclipse. The Sun and the Knight of Wands tends to indicate traveling to a foreign location. A lot of you could be planning a trip somewhere, or traveling for work, or traveling for negotiations or agreements with the Justice card. I also think for a lot of you, you may be signing leases, you may be getting visas, you might be looking at different contracts, different ways to negotiate, perhaps legal agreements. With Mercury opposite Chiron, there could be something kind of difficult about it. I'm not going to lie, if you are looking at a negotiation or agreement or something legal, there could be a little bit of pain on the side of someone else. So it could be that a partner suffers because of something, or it could be that maybe for some of you, you're going through a divorce or a separation where there's a bit of pain involved with a partner or a spouse. Or it could be that if you are signing an agreement or a lease, there could be something with the Chiron energy where you feel quite aware of where there is pain in the agreement, in the negotiation, in the relationship with somebody. Because Mercury is the sign of contracts and agreements, and it being in your first house opposite Chiron in your seventh house means that if you are trying to negotiate, sometimes there are occasions where you can't please everybody and feelings can get hurt, and that is part of life. It's not always the easiest thing, but it can offer opportunities for healing conversations at the same time, provided both parties are able to see both perspectives. But there could be a little bit of pain involved with Chiron there. But I do think a lot of you could for sure be traveling and find yourself in some way, shape or form, Libra, very much the one in the spotlight at this time, especially with the Sun card if you are a leader, Libra. That is what I have for you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Scorpio, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in your 12th house. So Scorpio, this is a new beginning for you, and it's very behind the scenes. It's going to require you to do some letting go internally on a soul level. So what could be changing around this time? Your spiritual practice, healing, how you heal, what you're doing to heal, what healing means for you. Inner clarity, there could be some secrets coming to the surface with this solar eclipse for you that perhaps you have held from yourself, or perhaps others have even held from you. You're diving deeper into yourself, and you're being brave in the pursuit of your personal growth. You're spending more time alone under this eclipse as well. You might be meditating, you might be focusing primarily on your mental health. In terms of the esoteric, your dreams could be very vivid, very profound, possibly quite psychic at times. And you might be trying different types of healing modalities that are perhaps a little bit different or taboo, such as hypnosis or any other kind of therapy that could be considered a little different, a little less mainstream. This can also for some people be that you're spending time in isolation because you're in some sort of institution like a hospital, or perhaps you are in I don't think if you were in a prison you could be watching this, but I'm not so sure. So I don't know. But you could be spending a lot of time alone, nevertheless, in solitude, in isolation. Or because the ruler of this eclipse, Venus, is in Virgo, and Virgo is the healing sign, and it's in your 11th house of groups and teams, you could be doing something with a team or a group that helps you heal, or you could be perhaps healing through friendship, healing through your connections, even if you're doing something on a soul level alone. Something that is quite private to you, something that is quite personal and very sensitive, I think, with this eclipse. It feels as if you're letting go of perhaps a limiting belief, a subconscious pattern, something within you, because it's the 12th house, and the 12th house is a little bit like the emotional dustbin of the zodiac wheel, I once heard it described as. It could be that perhaps you're letting go of an old belief that no longer serves you, that you are becoming aware of under this eclipse. Perhaps a secret is being revealed to you that is a limiting belief or a belief system. And you're finally ready to let it go and clear it, because eclipses and the 12th house are both associated with letting go. And because this is close to the south node, it's a very wonderful time for you to do some inner work and healing and to let go of the different ways of thinking, believing, different patterns that are no longer serving you and are perhaps becoming quite toxic. And in order to begin this new chapter, which I think is going to be very spiritual for a lot of you, very healing, you perhaps have to let go of something that you've buried internally and be brave in the pursuit of your spiritual growth, Scorpio. So let's get you some cards and see what comes up for you. It's also entirely possible that because this is a solar eclipse, you could have some sort of goal or something could be happening for you career-wise that you're working on behind the scenes or keeping a secret at this time, Scorpio. The Ace of Pentacles for sure. I think a lot of you are going to be accepting a gift at this time, or maybe you're even offering a gift. It could be that you're getting some sort of gift out of nowhere. It could come in many different forms, but it feels like a gift. Some of you could be starting a new job with that Ace of Pentacles, or starting a new way of making money as well. With the Hierophant, this could be a commitment, but I do see for a lot of you, this might be quite a spiritual thing. And you might even be using your spiritual gifts more, your clairvoyancy, your ability to read tea leaves, tarot cards, whatever it is. You could be really investing in your spiritual gifts or investing in your spiritual practice in some way, shape or form, Scorpio, with the Hierophant there. But for a lot of you, I do feel like you could be receiving a gift or some kind of money, or you could be perhaps investing your money in a new spiritual pursuit or a spiritual, with the 11th house Venus, a workshop, a class, a group of people, a team of people, or something like that, Scorpio. But that is what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to the solar eclipse. So Sagittarius, this new moon, a solar eclipse, is happening in your 11th house. This is to do with your friends, your communities, your social connections, social groups, new wishes and aspirations, and going after your dreams, or maybe joining a club. This feels like a kind of social new moon for you, Sagittarius. You could be moving away from one particular group of people or team or network in order to connect with a new one. So perhaps you're finding that you're outgrowing your friends from university, school, and you're finding yourself connecting more with the ones that you work with or the ones that you play basketball with or something like this. Or perhaps it is that you're moving away from a team that you work with and you're finding yourself connecting with a new network of people that are helping you grow and helping you change as a person. So it could be that you're stepping away from one particular group or team and moving more towards another. It could also be that perhaps you're letting go of a particular wish or a particular aspiration for yourself that you thought you wanted, you thought you were aligned with, you thought it was true to you. You might find that it was actually not your wish at all. It was a partner's wish, a best friend's wish. It was your business partner's hope for you. Something that just feels a little bit Sagittarius, like it wasn't really your dream to begin with, or perhaps you just don't feel aligned with that dream anymore. And you're maybe finding yourself connected with new friends, new communities who are going after the same things that you are, the same things that you want. And so you're maybe finding yourself leaning towards a new group of people this time in order to, move away from another one. Or because you're moving away from another one, or you're moving away from another one naturally because of that. It could also be that perhaps there's a friend leaves your life. This could be a male friend because it's a solar eclipse. A friend that you thought would always be in your life is perhaps no longer in your life for whatever reason. They may be moving across the world. There may be no longer aligned with the friendship, or you're no longer aligned with the friendship. But solar eclipses can tend to be associated with men leaving your life. But this also might be a case with Venus ruling this eclipse being in your 10th house, Sagittarius, that you're finding yourself with a new team or a group of people at work that's really going to help you grow and help you develop over time or help you meet your professional goals. Yeah, the 8 of Cups. You're walking away from something, Sagittarius. You're leaving something behind at this time to pursue, with the Magician underneath, new wishes, new aspirations, new goals, and maybe align yourself with people who are more on your wavelength. That's what I have for you. I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Capricorn, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So Capricorn, this is happening for you in your 10th house of your career, of your professional life, of your professional path, your public image, your drive, your ambition, the legacy that you're leaving behind, the name you've made for yourself. Social climbing. It's quite a familiar house for you as a Capricorn because you're the sign associated with the 10th house. So I feel like for you, Capricorn, in a sense, with the South Node, I feel like a lot of you are perhaps leaving one professional industry or one job for another at this time. You could be starting a new job at this particular point in time. With the South Node, it could be that there will be people on this new career path or journey that you've worked with before. Or it can be that you're perhaps leaving a completely a completely old industry to start a completely new industry. There's significant change and letting go happening for you here. And I think for you, Capricorn, with Venus being in your 9th house of higher learning, of travel, of education, it could be that perhaps you are studying something new as part of this new job. You're maybe getting a new education, or maybe it's going to change the way that you view the world. You might be traveling to a different country for this new job. You might be finding yourself surrounded by people who come from very different backgrounds from you, maybe different religions, maybe different educational backgrounds as well. Or it could be that you're going to have to learn a lot with this new job or this new path that you're taking professionally. Maybe it's a new part of your role. Maybe it's a new responsibility. Maybe it is something that it just feels new, but it's going to require you to let go of something else. It's going to require you to let go perhaps of one professional aspiration, one professional goal in order to accommodate this new start in your career, Capricorn. Perhaps you're starting a new career that is going to give you time to study outside of work, because with the South Node going through your 10th house, really you're being called to move away from your constantly being professional energy. It's sort of like taking a step back a little bit in career in order to really reevaluate, maybe pursue something else, or maybe put more of your energy into something else. And for you, that could be education, but it could also be travel, and it could also just be getting a different viewpoint of the world. 6 of Wands, though, I think a lot of you are going to be successful around this time. You're going to have some sort of successful news professionally. You can get on your high horse about it. I think you're going to be celebrating something. You're going to be celebrated. And it looks like a lot of you are going to have some form of success around the time of this eclipse, Capricorn. That's what I have for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aquarius, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in Libra for your sign. So Aquarius, you seem to be traveling around the time of this new moon or making travel plans. There seems to be new adventures on the horizon. You're expanding your horizons. Maybe you're trying a new philosophical perspective. You're maybe starting to study something new, getting an education, going to university, starting a new course. But it looks like for a lot of you, you could be exploring a foreign land or exploring different spiritual concepts, Aquarius. And what's interesting for you is that this could be something that, say you were traveling somewhere, you could get there and instantly feel like you've been there before, or maybe you have been there before. Maybe you're traveling somewhere you've been previously, or just you get there and you have this real sense of deja vu. You feel like you've lived there or been there in a previous life or something that you can't quite explain. You might also find that you are exploring different spiritual concepts or topics, and one of them might be the spirituality that perhaps you were raised with and moved away from, and you're maybe looking at it in a new light. Or maybe you're rejecting one form of spiritual belief systems for the sake of another. You may be deciding you're going in a different direction. So say, for example, you were more into this, you were more into astrology and tarot cards and things like that. You're actually saying, no, I think I actually want to go back to Catholicism. Or you're thinking, I actually want to explore my, the religion I was raised with from a different perspective, or vice versa. Maybe you're rejecting the religion or the viewpoints that you had for something else, and you're really expanding your horizons. This can be to do with foreign affairs. So a lot of you could be traveling for work. I think with Venus being in your 8th house and Venus ruling this eclipse, you could be really interested in the taboo side of spirituality. So that could be more of an interest in astrology or the occult, or going to a fortune teller or an astrology reader or a tarot card reader or something like that, Aquarius, that maybe does change your perspective a little bit and maybe shows you where you've been a bit blocked off for something and you're changing your viewpoints. A lot of you with this 2 of Cups could also be getting much closer to someone. Venus being in your 8th house, maybe you're bonding more deeply with a partner, you're being more intimate with a partner. And for some of you, maybe you're finding love at this time, Aquarius. Maybe you're connecting very deeply with someone or deepening a relationship. And with this being a 9th house eclipse, maybe that is because This is someone you meet traveling. The sun does rule your relationships. So you could meet someone who's from a different religious background, spiritual background. You could meet someone traveling, or you could meet somebody through university or education or something like that. That's what I have for you, Aquarius, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Pisces. Welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in your 8th house. So Pisces, we have a new beginning in a very intimate and intense zone for you. So this is happening in your sector of transformation, of connection, of growth. It's your psychology. So you might be digging deeper and facing some patterns, some fears, some insecurities, and you might be connecting with others on a deeper level in your intimate relationships and choosing to be more vulnerable. What's interesting is that the ruler of this eclipse, Venus, is in your 7th house of relationships. And so you might be finding, Pisces, that you are deepening a connection with somebody. This can be a new beginning in your financial relationships to other people. So this could be to do with taxes, debt, your spouse's money, inheritances. There could be a new chapter for you. Perhaps you're letting go of some debt, and perhaps you are letting go of a financial relationship. For some people, that could be something like divorce. You're letting go of your spouse's money. It doesn't have to be that, though. You would already know that, but it can be that perhaps you're deciding that this is a new chapter for you in terms of your financial relationship to another person. And this could be that your partner's money is changing. They could be getting a pay rise or something like that. But I think for a lot of you, it's going to be felt very personally. It could be that you're deepening a relationship, deepening a connection with a significant other. You might actually be merging financially with another person. And you could find yourself really connecting on a more intimate, deeper level with a close partner or relationship in your life. And for some of you, that could be, of course, meeting a new relationship if you're single, because with the ruler of this eclipse being Venus and Venus being in your 7th house, it feels as though this could be a time where you meet someone who feels very like a soulmate with the 8th house. You feel very drawn to them. They feel very, it feels like a very intense connection, and may have the potential to be a very intimate connection that changes you on a profound level, Pisces. With the sun ruling your 6th house of health and well-being, I feel like a lot of you could be understanding the relationship between psychology and your health. So it could be that perhaps in looking deeper at a psychological issue or some sort of pattern in your life, it's maybe changing the way you eat. You did have Venus in your 6th house for a very long time, asking you to reassess how you look after yourself and how you look after your body. And so this might be ushering in profound changes for you, and you might be transforming entirely the way you look at your health and approach your health. And this could be through getting a personal trainer. This could be getting through getting a dietitian, with Venus being in your 7th house, utilizing a key connection or relationship to help you with these transformations, Pisces. But I do feel like for a lot of you, with this being ruled by Venus, Venus being in your 7th house is going to have a very profound effect on your relationships, Pisces. Of course, we have the death card. The 8th house is the house of death. But usually this kind of death it's metaphorical. It references change. It represents, struggling to find my words for you. It represents transformation, letting something go to facilitate a new beginning, facing fears, letting go of a way of viewing things. 10 of Wands, perhaps letting go of a burden. For some of you that could be debt. For some of you that could be heavy responsibilities, or just feeling like you have to do everything by yourself, Pisces. Yes, 9 of Wands. I think a lot of you are letting go of something that feels like a struggle. This could be a crisis in your life that you have been back and forth on, that you've been trying to take care of by yourself, or you've been trying to do everything on your own, Pisces. I think it is the end of that. So it could be because you're meeting someone who's going to help you do these things. It could be because you are perhaps realizing that you need a little bit of help and you need to connect with other people a little bit deeper to get these kind of to appreciate and understand the value of sharing and connecting with other people. 4 of Swords, you're really being asked to take it easy. Pisces, I could draw all day, but you're getting very clear cards that are saying you need to let something go. You need to let go of some sort of burden, or some sort of burden or stress is perhaps being let go of at this time. And you may find yourself having to ask for help so that you can catch a break. That is what I have for you, Pisces. I hope you have a good one, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, welcome. So Aries, this is happening in your sector of relationships and partnerships. So this could be, for some of you, that you are, with the South Node, leaving a relationship behind. This could be the end of a marriage. This could be the end of a divorce. This could be the end of a close partnership. Or this could be the end of a chapter in a relationship or partnership. Perhaps you're getting engaged, perhaps you're getting married, perhaps you are starting a new chapter with each other because maybe you've had a baby, maybe you have moved home. It's a new chapter in your relationship. And for some of you that are single, this could absolutely bring in a new relationship, a new partnership, a new connection. And this could be someone who's quite fated, someone who's quite destined in your life. So if you're on the lookout or you're on the market, Aries, I would say the likelihood of you meeting this person through your day job is quite high, or just out and about running errands, because the ruler of this eclipse, Venus, is in your 6th house of your day-to-day activities, your health. You could meet them at the doctor's office, at the dentist. You could meet them out running errands, or you could just meet them through work. You could meet them through your day job, Aries. But let's get you a card and see what's coming up for your eclipse. 7 of Wands. Some of you could definitely be feeling kind of defensive in your relationships. And I think the reason for that is that Mercury is opposite Chiron. Mercury is in your 7th house of relationship, opposite Chiron in your 1st. So you could be feeling triggered by another person, for want of a better word. You could be feeling quite defensive with them. You could be arguing about perhaps how you approach your emotions, but perhaps also how you approach day-to-day tasks, how you approach your day-to-day affairs with a person. So if you're having relationship issues, it could be to do with the mundane, the tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis. Or even the way that you communicate. You could have completely different love languages, Aries. But with the 7 of Wands, the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles, I feel like differences may be heightened under this eclipse, and it could be a case that they're being heightened so that you can witness them and appreciate them and find a way to harmonize the two differences, or it might escalate issues where two people are like chalk and cheese in your life, Aries, is sort of what I'm seeing for you. But I think more it's to do with appreciating the differences that people bring to the table, and appreciating the fact that you may approach things differently or you may see things differently, but that does not necessarily mean that the relationship itself is doomed. It could be that perhaps you just need to negotiate and find a little bit of balance. But that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Taurus. Welcome to the new moon solar eclipse for you. This is happening in the sign of Libra, your 6th house of your health and your daily routines. This is a great time to focus on wellness, to focus on your health, and maybe to start some sort of new chapter when it comes to your health, your wellness, and your fitness. You might be trying to find more balance when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your exercise routine, when it comes to how you look after yourself. And for some of you, this could be a new job. This could be a new lifestyle. This could be a new place to work. You could also have a new doctor, a new dentist. You could find yourself going back to an old one with the south node there, or perhaps revisiting an old way that you used to approach your health, you used to approach your wellness, Taurus. But I do think for a lot of you, your health is your wealth with this particular eclipse, and you're really looking to change something or to usher in new changes. And with the opposition between Mercury in this sector for you and Chiron being in your 12th house, I feel like the internal healing that you've been doing, the letting go that you've been doing, Taurus, is perhaps for you facilitating a new way of thinking about your routine, or a new way of moving your body, a new way of mindfulness, practicing mindfulness in your day-to-day wellness and routines as well, Taurus. I just kind of get the sense for a lot of you, this is going to be a new diet. This is going to be a new way of exercising. This is going to be a new healthcare regimen. This is going to be a new job. This is going to be something new in your day-to-day life, Taurus. Yep. The 8 of Pentacles, something that you're going to be working on, something that you're putting a lot of effort into, and with the Hierophant underneath, a lot of commitment into. I think a lot of you are finally ready to let go of a toxic habit or lifestyle or way of life that no longer works for you, no longer serves you. And you're willing to put a lot of effort into this new plan, this new chapter in your health and wellness journey, or perhaps this new chapter in your work, Taurus. With this being ruled by Venus in your 5th house, I feel like you're going to have to love this. I feel like you're going to have to really have a lot of love in your heart for these new changes that you're making, or this new job, or perhaps you're meeting people at a new job or a new chapter in your career that you really love. Maybe you're getting new co-workers, and that could actually lead to a workplace romance with Venus being in your 5th house. But I think a lot of you are going to be doing practical things in the day-to-day to help manage fear, anxiety, or making sure that you're getting better sleep, Taurus. That's what I have for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Gemini. Welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So Gemini, this is happening in your 5th house of your passions, your creative hobbies, fun, excitement. your inner child. And this also rules pregnancies and births and focus on children, but it can also rule new love. A lot of you could be finding new love, Gemini. And funnily enough, you could be finding this on your doorstep. This is ruled by Venus in your 4th house. So you could be finding new love near your home. Maybe someone that lives near your home, or meeting someone through your family. Maybe meeting someone from your childhood, your long distance past. Or someone who knows your family, or maybe even comes from the same country as you if you were living abroad, for example. But this can also bring about new creative ideas. You could be putting a lot of creative ideas into your home. You could perhaps be redecorating in a different way, Gemini. This could be putting a lot of love and attention into art, things that you find spark joy, spark creativity, spark passion. So you could be adding a little bit of drama to your home life. In terms of the art you put on the wall, or the furnishings and things like that. It could be very passion driven, things that you look at and you love when you look at them in your home. But this can also be starting a new fun project or hobby. This could be fated love affairs, dating new people. This can also be, of course, the announcement of a pregnancy, conception, birth, and matters surrounding children could come to the fore, especially because, as I say, the ruler Venus is in your 4th house of family. So for a lot of you, it could be a new addition to your family by a birth, or the announcement of a pregnancy. But for some of you, you could simply, Gemini, be pursuing things that you're passionate about. And these could be things that you can do at home. So it could be new hobbies that you can do from your house, with Venus being in the 4th house. But I do feel for a lot of you, this is about figuring out what sparks joy and what makes you happy. For some of you, it's travel with the 8 of Wands. Some of you could also be trying online dating with that card as well, Gemini. If you're single, absolutely, because you just got the Knight of Cups. I think for a lot of you, it's going to be love. I think there's going to be new love. I think there's going to be a new chapter in your love life. If you're committed, it could be new passions, traveling together, making sure that you date your partner, even if you've been together for 100 years or something like that. Bringing more romance and joy into your life and communicating with others. I think some of you could be writing poetry, journaling, putting your artistic flair on your communication. That could be writing poems, journals, short stories, doing something you're very passionate about that requires you to communicate, Gemini, as you do so well. You could be communicating about your pain because Mercury, your ruler, will be opposite Chiron. So you could be telling a very heartfelt story that feels very vulnerable or raw. But that is what I have for you, Gemini. I hope you have a good one, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Cancer, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse for you. Cancer, this is happening in your sector of home, family and property. It feels like there's a new chapter in your home life. So maybe you're doing some renovating, some decorating. Maybe there's an addition to your home. This could require you, for example, if you're redecorating a particular room, this means you're letting go of the old decor and you're bringing in new decor. You could be making some very significant and substantial changes to your home. For a lot of you, this could also be moving home. This could be buying or selling a house. This could also be new changes within your family and your roots. So perhaps for some of you, you're having some changes within the home. Your relationship to your family members is changing. And for others of you, it could be that you're maybe healing, emotionally speaking. You're going back to your childhood and you're maybe doing some digging and some inner work. And your relationship to your own emotions is maybe changing, Cancer. But it feels like for a lot of you, these changes are going to be happening primarily with the home and with your family. So that could be maybe a new addition to the family. That could be that your relationship dynamic with your family is shifting. So say, for example, you've gone off to university and you're coming back for a vacation to your childhood home, to your family, and you're realizing that your relationship has shifted with your parents. They see you more as an adult or something like that, and you're realizing the dynamic has changed with your family, Cancer. There does seem to be a lot of home and family changes going on for you. And for some of you, you could certainly be moving. So let's get you a card, see what we get. The Ace of Pentacles. This is funny. This came up for somebody else. I do think for a lot of you, you could be receiving a gift around the time of this eclipse, but you could be buying or selling property or investing money into property, Cancer. It feels like you are putting your money into your home, into your family, into making it a more comfortable nest-like environment. It feels like a nest. It feels like you're nesting for some of you, and you're really putting your money into your home, your family, and your living situation. So I have for you, Cancer, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So Leo, this is happening in your third house, and this is to do with communication, your relationship to learning, study, your new skills, what you put on social media, writing, learning, workshops, intellectual interests, and also your siblings and your neighbors. So there's a new beginning happening here for you, Leo. This could be perhaps that a friend is exiting your life and maybe you're making new ones. This could be that you're leaving one neighborhood behind and going somewhere else, maybe moving somewhere just over, changing states or changing counties or changing cities. It doesn't have to be long distance because it's the third house, although it could be. But I feel like a lot of you are perhaps moving to a new area, somewhere different. Or perhaps you're taking a new workshop, or you're learning something new, or you're going to be getting some sort of certification through a short course. Perhaps some of you are going to be writing a book, writing a novel, writing poetry, sharing your words online. Your relationship, Leo, with siblings may also be changing if you have them. The end of one chapter, beginning of a new chapter. And I do think you could be moving cities or neighborhoods because it feels like you might be letting go of some neighbors. Perhaps even neighbors in your neighborhood are moving and that is changing. Or you're maybe getting more involved in a neighborhood you live in but have never quite known. It feels like there's a new beginning happening here for you. Leo. Queen of Pentacles could involve an earth sign female. That would be a Capricorn, Taurus, or a Virgo. The Fool. I think a lot of you are going on a new adventure though. You could be traveling with someone who fits this description, traveling for work or with someone you work with. But a lot of you are going to be taking a new venture. You could be learning a new skill. You could be learning something that is going to help you professionally. With this being a solar eclipse and you being ruled by the sun, I feel like you're really using your brain to focus on what it is that you want to learn next, Leo. I do think with the Seven of Swords here, just be careful because with eclipses, your word is your bond. So whatever you're saying, putting out into the universe at this time, Leo, is being magnified, and it's important to keep your word. A lot of you could be beginning something new, and it feels for some reason for you, Leo, like this could be a little bit secretive or something that you maybe want to keep quiet. A lot of you could be learning something that maybe involves a bit of detective work, or it could be to do with psychology, or it could be to do with seduction or manipulation. I'm just thinking in terms of this card, but I think a lot of you could be learning something new with the Fool card here. And I think that you're going to be using these skills in a way that really benefits you and perhaps makes you feel more emotionally intelligent, but also just smarter in general. So a lot of you are definitely learning something or studying something under this new moon solar eclipse, Leo. That's what I have for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Virgo, welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in Libra for your sign. So Virgo, this is happening in your financial sector. This is very much to do with your money, but the ruler of this eclipse is in your first house of self. So it's very focused on your money, your income, the way you make money, and also your personal values, your confidence, and your finances overall and what matters to you, Virgo. So I feel with this being a new moon solar eclipse, you may be letting go of an old way of making money or an old way of approaching money, an old belief about money. This is a solar eclipse and the sun rules your 12th house of the hidden, the unconscious, the self-sabotaging mechanisms that we possess within ourselves. So some of you could be getting very clear on where you've maybe been financially irresponsible, self-sabotaging yourself in some regard, or maybe even just underselling or undervaluing yourself when it comes to your finances, Virgo. And this might be a time when you're deciding you maybe want to charge more because you see your worth, you see your value with Venus being in your sign. You maybe want to charge more, you maybe want to up the price of your different services. Some of you could actually be getting a financial gift at this time, or a gift of some kind with a solar eclipse being in your second house. It does tend to rule receiving gifts from another person. This can also be that you're maybe starting a new job that brings you more money. And one that I think with Venus in your sign does truly value you for your skills and your expertise. This might be a time when you're becoming more financially independent as well, with it being a solar eclipse in your second house, Virgo. But it's worth noting that this is the South Node, and it's the energy that you're sort of letting go of a few things. So I think with it being, the sun, ruling your 12th house and it's being a solar eclipse, I think a lot of this is going to involve you letting go of things that you feel, things that you believe within yourself when it comes to money, when it comes to finances, when it comes to your worth, your value, and maybe even your confidence. This might be a time when you're saying, actually, I need to let this go because I need to be more confident for this job, for this role, for this pay rise, or whatever it is. And you might just also be kind of more clear on your morals and your values, and that can actually give you a bit more confidence. Virgo, you're more comfortable standing up for your beliefs. You're more comfortable standing up for what truly matters to you when it comes to perhaps money, or when it comes to self-value, self-worth, self-esteem, self-belief. This is certainly a new chapter when it comes to your confidence. This is certainly a new chapter where you're going to be perhaps having to be more confident, or perhaps having to step into a new way of standing, conducting yourself, holding yourself, Virgo. Oh, we have 2 cards. One fell on the floor. Oh, very air. We have the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords. A lot of you could be communicating something at this time that's very important to someone else. We do have the Mercury opposite Chiron element of this, where perhaps your ruler being in your 2nd house means you're having to communicate your values, having to communicate your finances, you're having to talk about what truly matters to you. And that being opposite Chiron in your 8th house means that might be kind of scary. That might be kind of fearful. It might trigger some fears for you and you might want to run away from it. But you have to be very clear on what you mean and what you say, Virgo. With this energy, the Ace of Swords and the Page of Swords, there could be very important conversations, which I feel truthfully with these that you would be triumphant within. But I think you have to communicate what's on your mind. And I think you have to be very clear, very honest with yourself. This might be more, this could be that you're perhaps getting very honest with your online banking or your finances, or you want some more clarity when it comes to the money you're spending online, whether that's enabling notifications, whether that is that you maybe get a phone call from your bank, your bank to alert you of fraud or something around this time, and you get very clear on your financial boundaries as well, Virgo. You might have to be very diligent with the facts of the matter when it comes to your finances, Virgo. That's what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.